Alright, guys, so we're back yet again. We're finally going to be talking about Disney Twisted Wonderland Tales. Uh, Finally watched the last episode from assuming this season, and that's if it continues. Going into the whole recap of this season was really into the one Riddle who is the king, queen, whatever he wants to say he is, of the heart house for the Wonderland house, and the main character, he pretty much was helping these other characters try to figure out how they were going to handle the headmaster of the household. And the headmaster, again, he was a prick. I mean, let's be honest. He was a prick. He had a very rough childhood. Went into the whole thing. His mother was very you got to do this around this time. You got to do this around this time, and he wanted to insert that into his teachings, into being a headmaster, and it was not the best thing to do. And that's why a lot of his followers stopped following him and had issues with him, because it was a lot of issues due to the fact of how he did things, and then all the anger, all the hate and the grief just really corrupted them. And then we saw one final fight in the last like two episodes, which is really the only fights we had in this entire season that was actually somewhat decent. We had maybe like what, 4 or 5 fights in this whole season. And this show is not a big fighting whatever. It's more like a drama. And again, I don't mind shows like that, but I was bored most of this season. I was bored with this series, in all honesty. I like the way that the characters were designed. It's very bright, very extravagant, very interesting for some of these characters. I had to ask questions of what is going on in this series. A lot of you guys commented saying that it was based on a game, and then they gender swapped people. Which again, I don't know why they did that to begin with, because most of these characters do not act male; they act more female. And there's some that you think, I don't know what they're gonna do. I got some ideas what they may do. I'm hoping that they don't try to, because I mean, some of these characters do come across as uh, I don't know, man. I really don't want to get into, what their sexual orientation is, and I really don't care. Um, I think going into the next seasons, they may focus on the other houses like Scar's house, Hades, things like that. They may do this so-called tournament that they brought up in the last episode, and how Riddle's trying to be better and learn that not everything's got to go a certain way or by time or be perfect, because again, that's the way he was raised. And I don't know. I don't know. I was kind of bored with this anime. I mean, I really want to give it more of a chance. I want to see if it improves, but I know there's people that's going to be praising this anime. There's people that's probably going to say, oh, well, maybe you should stop watching, or whatever the case of it is. Again, I understand that aspect, and there's some animes I drop and then I come back to, but I really thought that this was going to be a very good anime, and in all honesty, it's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. It doesn't have. My favorite character was Grim, the cat. In all honesty, that's my favorite character, because he's a smart ass, he's funny, and he's really like if you mix Happy with Fairy Tale, and then you mix probably Chopper with One Piece, you get that character. That's basically the best way to describe that character. Um, and I love it, and it's hilarious. But the other characters, they're kind of I don't know. Like, I really don't like. I just want to see how these characters are going to improve, especially the main character that has no magic, and he was kind of sidelined in this show. Like okay, well, what's the point? And then he delivers the final blow going up against Riddle when everyone else has powers, but yet somehow he was able to. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me, in all honesty. I know people have said, "Oh, I need to play the game," or "I need to learn more about it," and I've thought about getting into it. And there's people that I could probably see that love this franchise, or whatever, and that's perfectly fine. But in all honesty, it would make more sense if Riddle was a female. It would make more sense if other characters were female rather than male, especially if it was a female uh, villain. like Maleficent, Queen of Hearts, Ursula, things like that. It would have made more sense if they would have been female rather than male. That's just my opinion. Same thing with the males that were from whatever Hades, Scar, etc. Jafar. That makes sense. But again, with the one like, oh, you're going up against your queen. It's like, bro, you're a dude. Like, you're a dude. You're not a queen. So I don't know. I don't know if Disney's allowing these characters to be, use pronouns and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't really care. There was no, to my knowledge, or what I saw, I didn't see a virtue signaling or for this or that. I didn't really pay attention to any of that. I'm not sure if it was in there. If it was, it was. If it wasn't, it wasn't. Because Disney, you know how Disney is. Disney just throws something out there and see if it sticks, and sometimes it does well, sometimes it don't. But with this series, it's a miss for me. It really is. It could use a lot more action, better comedy, better story. In all honesty, it's interesting of how these villains created these schools, and you had ones join. That's what fascinates me personally, is how did they have the time to do this? Or again, it's an alternate. I understand it's an alternate timeline, but it's where, how did it begin type thing. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to learn. Which I may have to dig in and see if there's videos on that, which maybe you guys can let me know down in the comments. But did you guys enjoy this series? Did you guys enjoy it at all? Or did you just watch it and were you happy with it? Were you bored? Were you thought it could be better? Me personally, I thought it could be better. Again, I'm going to keep saying that, but I'm not going to be a dead horse to death. But what do you guys think about it? Let me know down in the comments. I'll see you as always on the next one.